Welcome back to the Grio. In less than a week, millions of people across the country will have to start repaying their student loan debt. Payment starts October 1st. That's after a 3-year pause during the COVID-19 pandemic. Back with me is Brittani Williams, a senior policy analyst in higher education at the Education Trust. And we also have Jessica Norwood, a financial activist and the author of the new book, Believe in You Money. What would it look like if the economy loved black people? I need y'all to keep breaking this stuff down to me. One question I think is policy. Brittani, Jessica, help me understand. What are some policies that need to be put into place that would help us sort of create some kind of relief for people, as we've been talking about, and also help people build a path forward?
Yeah. If I can, I want to first just recognize what already has been done. And so I want borrowers to know the holistic situation that they are facing. And one of the things that I think has been kind of quietly kept is that borrowers have a 1-year leniency policy in place, which means that borrowers, if they struggle a bit to start paying their loans back immediately, they have time before they would fall into default or they would have their missed payments reported to collections. And so I think that policy movement has been made. I think that we have more movement to go in ways that make these payments more affordable for borrowers, but also ways in which we can actually see that the debt is being eliminated. And so I think that there are whispers happening in the policy space that look at solutions for that being done. But I think that's what borrowers need to know the most, that if we are making the payments or if we are enrolled in least in a plan, what are the protections and the policies in place that support me knowing that my balance is actually decreasing without just the hardship of all of the interest that has been accruing over time.
Jessica, help me make sense of this too. You're now queen of the world, and the queen of the world should be a black person, should be a black woman. You should be running things anyway. You could create some policies that will help people like me who still ain't paid their student loan debt off, the month lasting longer than our money. What would be helpful for somebody like me to get not just my loans paid off, but also to be able to start building the kind of wealth, that believe in you money? How we get there?
Yeah. Marc, it takes canceling the debt. I mean, it's just straightforward, and everybody knows it at this point. I think we are in an election cycle right now, and this is one of those issues that we can't afford to just let pass by. We need to press harder. We need to vote as an act of our civic engagement. But ultimately, we have to treat this like an investment in the future, an investment in the talent of the people around you. If you're not going to make an investment, then you can't compete in the marketplace. And so we can't hold two things as true at the same time and say we want to be competitive, we want to make these advancements in technology, we want to, deal with climate, if we're not putting the resources behind the people who are best capable of solving those things. And that looks like Black folks in your community. So we need to be talking about canceling the debt at this point. I think some of the other measures, as Brittani has mentioned, are important, and they're important steps, but they are not going to close the racial wealth gap. And we need to be serious, not just saying close the racial wealth gap, but we've got to do all that we can to eliminate the barriers to home ownership. We need to eliminate the barriers to be able to get out into the marketplace. We need to eliminate these barriers, and it looks like canceling the debt.
You pointed out all these amazing things that need to happen in the world, fixing climate change, repairing the economy, and you talked about black communities being the kind of centerpiece, ground zero for making this stuff happen. Based on how our economic policy functions right now, it's almost as if, Jessica, that the world doesn't believe that black folk can solve those problems, that we're not worth investing in. Is that the part of the issue here?
Yeah. Yeah, it's almost as if they don't love Black folks, right? And so, which is the name of the book. So it's almost like that. But I think what we have now is a moment in time coming out of this pandemic where there is a reset button that all of us have been experiencing, where it's time for us to calibrate and say, okay, here's what's important. We can't go back to business as usual. And so this is one of those defining moments. Are we going to say that Black students are able to contribute to the world making of our future? That's what's at stake.
I'm looking at the Biden administration right now, and some people are sort of trumpeting their successes. Other people are saying they haven't done enough. Some people are saying they're doing the opposite of what they should be doing. I want to ask each of you this question. Brittany, I'll go to you and give Jessica the final word on this. How do you assess where the Biden administration has been on these issues? And is there anything that can be done in the time that's left in this first term?
Particularly for me, I'm looking at access to higher education and access for historically marginalized students, highlighting students that look like me. I identify as a first-generation student, and I am thinking about what access and affordability have been made for Black first-generation students that are trying to, become democratic actors in this economy. I think that not enough has been done. And I think that, again, measures are to the eye of the beholder for sure. However, I think that there is so much work to be done, to Jessica's points just recently, that we just are not seeing happening yet. And so for me, my assessment, based on my assessment, we're not doing enough.
Jessica, I'll give you the last word on this.
Yeah, absolutely more can be done. The Biden administration has made pledges to the Black community that they would address student debt, and we haven't seen it.
Address student debt. I like the commitment, but I need it enforced in policy. I think that's what y'all are saying. That's what Black folk have been saying forever.
That's right.
It's one thing to say it, and some folk don't even say it, but now you got to actually make the word flesh. We need some policies, y'all. I love y'all for this. I love y'all analysis, everybody. Make sure you check out Jessica's book. It's called Believe in You Money. What would it look like if the economy loved Black people? The book is available October 10th, everywhere books are sold. But as always, we encourage you to support your local Black-owned bookstore. Next up on the Grio, a self-proclaimed herbal healer said he had the cure for AIDS, for cancer, and for other diseases. The Grio looks back at the controversy surrounding the man known as Dr. Sebi.